Hello, judges. I'm John Evans of WECT-TV here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I wanted to share some details of my entry this year for TV News Anchor of the Year in Division 2. I've included several aspects of my work for you to see. Most of it you'll see on other entries as well is the more traditional news anchoring from the 4 daily newscasts I do on WECT and on Fox Wilmington. I've also included some live reporting work that I did after Hurricane Florence hit our area last September. Good evening, everyone. Families still struggling to recover now, more than a month after Hurricane Florence made landfall. They're working to rebuild their homes and the places where they gather to become entire communities. Entire islands are evacuating as Hurricane Florence moves closer to our coastline. Carolina, Curie, Wrightsville beaches, all under mandatory evacuation orders. Here's some video from Wrightsville Beach taken a few short hours ago. Most Brunswick County beach towns are doing the same. Pender County is now under a county-wide evacuation order. The storm is expected to start impacting us in the next 24 to 36 hours. Right now, we're going to go to the New Hanover County Board of Commissioners, having a media availability now with an update on the storm. Let's hear from, we believe it will be, this is Stephen Still, the Director of Emergency Services in New Hanover County. Okay, once again, New Hanover County Manager Chris Coudray with a media briefing after Emergency Management Director Stephen Still at the New Hanover County Government Offices Building. A couple of highlights here. You're seeing Chris Coudray still in the boxes. If he says anything that I need to add, they will let me know. 2 buses leaving at the top of the hour for another shelter outside of New Hanover County that's going to Winston-Salem, Joel Coliseum in Winston-Salem. 1 leaving from the Government Center, the other leaving from Johnson Pre-K, which is also a shelter, but is at capacity. So if you can get to either one of those locations by 6, those buses are leaving at 6 o'clock. You can bring your pets, but they will not be with you during the storm. They will be in a shelter next door to Joel Coliseum in Winston-Salem. The other big message that came from down here today, Bob, was the housing issue in New Hanover County and Wilmington. With so many people still in shelters and with apartment complexes evicting people who have damaged apartments, where are all these people going to go? There was a FEMA representative here with Governor Cooper today that talked about many of the hotels in the Wilmington, New Hanover County area are full. Many of the apartments that are not open were damaged. So they're talking now about the possibility of trailers or RVs coming in as an option on down the line. And now I have some examples of my work that you won't likely see on other entries. Work done in here, in the WECT digital studio, this new one, and the one that Hurricane Florence washed away. Along with my daily anchoring duties, I also moderate all of the station's political forums and events. Most of those are streamed live on our website. Would you please join me in welcoming Stephanie Adams, Nelson Bollier, Janice Kavanaugh, Don Hayes, Judy Justice, Elena Roseman-Herr, and Bill Rivenbark, our school board candidate. Now here is an example of my digital anchoring, a political video done in our studio and put online for the campaign season. Now, I posted a story a little while ago on WECT.com. I'm going to show that to you right now. This is the story. It's candidate filing begins for the 2018 elections. And what I've done on here is I've put down a list of all the state House and Senate seats right here. And you see the areas that they cover. House District 16 covers all of Pender and Columbus, part of Columbus County. So that takes you all the way through. We have the 2 congressional races, the areas that they cover. The 7th congressional district seat held by David Rouser covers all of New Hanover, Pender, Brunswick, and Columbus counties and part of Bladen County. And the rest of Bladen County is in the 9th congressional district, the seat held by Robert Pittenger. And then I've gone down here and basically county by county given you some of the main races that you're going to see on the ballots. Now, here's more of my digital anchoring done during our wall-to-wall coverage of Hurricane Florence. For those of you who are just joining us, may not have seen some of the video coming in from along our beaches already, and this is some of the viewer videos submitted to us a short time ago. The surf is already coming up and over the rocks in Carolina Beach, and this is early in the process, and that means a lot of trouble in the next 2 or 3 days, and many insurance claims by homeowners along the coast. And one of the people who will be involved in that whole process is the North Carolina Insurance Commissioner, Mike Causey. Mr. Commissioner, we appreciate you joining us. Give us your early thoughts on this process, how it's gone so far, what your office is doing to try to make this as easy as possible for homeowners affected by this hurricane.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. We have a team at the department.
For my last example, it's something that I don't think any other anchor in the Carolinas is doing. It's my one-on-one with John Evans podcast. It produces content on several different platforms. It features interviews with successful people who have ties to the Wilmington area. Now in its third season, we already have more than 16,000 downloads. It's available on all of the major podcast sites and apps, and I also turn it into fresh content for our newscasts. Communities like Fair Bluff in Columbus County are still recovering from Hurricanes Matthew and Florence. A nonprofit group called Working Narratives recently received grant money to tell recovery stories from areas like Fair Bluff, small rural communities often forgotten in the recovery or the readiness process. On this week's One-on-One with John Evans podcast, Ren Smith of Working Narratives told me about the goal for this project.
We don't want to just focus on the struggles of folks in places like Fair Bluff, but we want to highlight the resilience that they show. So they've found ways to survive, and often as marginalized communities do, they've found these resistances, ways to keep going each day.
You can hear my entire interview with Ren Smith of Working Narratives on this new project they're calling Flood Zones. Just download the free One-on-One with John Evans podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, anywhere you find your podcast. There's also a link inside this story on WECT.com. That's it. Examples of my more traditional and more non-traditional work, and my entry for the TV News Anchor of the Year in Division 2 for this year. I'm John Evans. Thanks for watching.